My sister's coffin was already being lowered into the ground when a man I had never seen before started screaming my name. Not crying, not praying, screaming. He pushed through the crowd holding a birth certificate with my name on it, but not my father's. And then he said something that made everyone go silent. My daughters deserve to know the truth. Daughters, plural. That's when I realized the man who raised me might have never been my father at all. And the worst part, my sister knew before she died. The rain started before we reached the cemetery, a steady, quiet kind of rain that soaked everything without asking. Emily would have hated it. She used to joke that if she ever died, she wanted sunshine. Make people squint, she said once, not cry. I kept hearing that as I stood beside her coffin, closed. They said it was because of the accident. No one asked questions, not out loud. The priest spoke, but his words blurred into the sound of rain hitting umbrellas. I couldn't focus. My chest felt tight, like something was off, but I didn't know what yet. My mother stood beside me, shaking. Her hands wouldn't stop moving, rubbing against each other like she was trying to erase something invisible. My father stood on my other side, Daniel Carter. Still, silent, too silent. I told myself people grieve differently. I didn't know I was already wrong. The priest paused for the final prayer. The workers adjusted the ropes. This was it. And then, Lena! The voice cut through everything. Sharp, urgent, wrong. I turned. A man was pushing through the crowd, no umbrella. Rain soaked through his clothes, but he didn't seem to notice. Lena! People tried to stop him. Sir, you can't. He ignored them. His eyes locked onto mine, and something in my chest dropped because he didn't look lost. He looked like he had found me. I'm sorry, he said as he got closer. His voice was shaking. I'm so sorry. The priest stepped forward. You need to leave. But the man reached into his coat and pulled out a folded piece of paper. I didn't want this, he said. Not like this. My mother made a small sound beside me. I turned to her. She wasn't confused. She was terrified. What is this? I asked. The man stepped closer and held the paper out. I think you deserve to know who you are. I hesitated. Lena, my mother whispered, grabbing my wrist. Don't. Her grip was tight. Mom, what is this? Please, not now. Not now. Which meant not ever. I pulled my hand free and took the paper. It felt heavier than it should. I unfolded it slowly. Official seal. Stamped. My name. Lena Carter. Date of birth. Correct. Mother. Margaret Carter. My eyes moved down and stopped. Father. I blinked. Read it again. The name didn't change. Victor Hale. Not Daniel Carter. Not my father. No, I whispered. This is wrong. It's not, the man said. I looked up. My name is Victor Hale, he said. The name echoed strangely in my head. You don't know me, he continued. But I know you. That's not possible. I've been looking for you, he said. For both of you. Both. My stomach dropped. What? His eyes flicked to the coffin, just for a second. Emily, he said softly. She was my daughter, too. Everything tilted. No, that's not... Lena. My mother's voice broke. I turned. She looked like she might collapse. Tell me this isn't real, I said. She didn't answer. She couldn't even look at me. Movement behind us. I turned again. My father, Daniel, was walking away. No hesitation. Dad? I called. He didn't stop. Dad! Nothing. He kept walking into the rain like none of this belonged to him. My heart started racing. Why is he leaving? I asked. Why isn't he saying anything? Silence. Rain, the paper shaking in my hand. I'm sorry, Victor said again. I didn't want you to find out like this. Then when? I snapped. After another 20 years? He flinched. Everything you've been told, he said slowly, about your father. He glanced toward where Daniel disappeared. Isn't true. You're lying. I wish I was. You don't just show up and rewrite someone's life. I'm not rewriting it, he said quietly. His eyes held mine. I'm telling you what was taken from you. The words landed hard. I don't know you, I whispered. I know, he said. A pause. But you're my daughter. The rain felt louder. I looked down at the paper again. Victor Hale. Then back at him, at the way he stood there like he had nothing left to lose. And for the first time, I felt something worse than anger. Doubt. Lena, he said gently, the man who raised you, he hesitated, is not your father. I closed my eyes, just for a second, hoping everything would reset. It didn't, because when I opened them, my father was gone. My mother was shaking, and a stranger stood in front of me, holding the truth that was about to destroy my life. The rain didn't stop when we left the cemetery. It followed us home. The car ride was silent, not the kind of silence that feels calm, the kind that presses in, heavy, like it's waiting for something to break. My mother sat in the passenger seat, staring straight ahead. She hadn't spoken since we left. Victor sat in the back with me, close enough to feel real, close enough to make everything worse. I kept the birth certificate folded in my hand. I hadn't let go of it once. Like if I did, maybe I'd lose control of what was happening. Say something, I finally whispered. No one answered. I looked at my mother. Mom? Nothing. Mom, look at me. She didn't. Her jaw tightened, her fingers gripping her coat. Is it real? I asked. Is that... I held up the paper slightly. Real? Her breath hitched, but still, nothing. The silence snapped something inside me. Are you serious right now? My voice rose. You're just not going to say anything? Lena, she said quietly. It was the first word she'd spoken since the cemetery, and it sounded like it hurt. Please, not here. Then where? I shot back. Because apparently my entire life just got rewritten at a funeral, so I'd love to know when the right time is. Victor shifted slightly behind me, like he wanted to say something. I turned on him instantly. And you don't. He froze. You don't get to walk into my life and start explaining things like you belong here. I don't expect you to... Good. I cut him off. Because you don't. My chest was tight. My hands were shaking now. I hated that he noticed. I know this is a shock, he said carefully. A shock? I let out a hollow laugh. You think this is a shock? I held up the paper again. This says my father isn't my father. I pointed toward the empty driver's seat. Where is he, by the way? That's when it hit me. The car, the seat, empty. I turned forward. Wait, where is Dad? My mother's grip tightened on her coat. He left, she said. Left? I repeated. What does that even mean? He had to go. No, I said, shaking my head. No, he doesn't just have to go right after someone shows up and tells his daughter he's not her father. She didn't respond. Did he know? I asked. That landed. I saw it in the way her shoulders stiffened. Mom, I said slowly, my voice dropping. Did he know? Silence. That was my answer. Oh my God, I whispered. I leaned back in the seat, the air suddenly feeling too thin. You knew, I said. She shook her head quickly. No, you knew, I repeated, louder now. It's not that simple. It is that simple, I snapped. Either he's my father or he's not. Victor spoke softly from behind me. He's not. Stop talking, I said immediately. My voice came out sharper than I expected, but I didn't regret it. I turned back to my mother. How long? I asked. She closed her eyes. How long have you known? A long pause. Too long. Since the beginning. The words hit like something physical. I felt them, in my chest, in my throat, in the space where everything used to feel certain. The beginning, I repeated. You're saying, I couldn't even finish the sentence. That whole time? I whispered. My entire life? Tears finally spilled down her face. I didn't have a choice. There it was. The sentence that explains everything and nothing at the same time. There's always a choice, I said. Not this time, she said, shaking her head. You don't understand. Then explain it to me, I shouted. The car jerked slightly as she pulled into the driveway. She didn't turn off the engine, didn't move. I was trying to protect you, she said. From what? She didn't answer. Of course she didn't. I let out a shaky breath and pushed the door open. Cold air hit my face, mixing with rain. Good. I needed something real, something that made sense. I stepped out and stood there for a second, just breathing. Then I heard the car door behind me. Victor, of course. I turned around. Don't follow me. I'm not trying to... Just stop, I said. Please. He did, for a moment. Then, I have proof, he said. I froze, slowly turned back. What? More than that, he said, nodding toward the paper in my hand. Photos, letters, things your mother sent me. My heart skipped. I looked at my mom, her face drained of color. You kept them? She whispered. His expression softened. I kept everything. The way he said it didn't sound like evidence. It sounded like memory. I hated that it affected me. That doesn't prove anything, I said quickly. It proves I didn't walk away, he replied. That landed differently, because that was always the story. Dad stayed. Someone else left. That's how it worked. That's how it was supposed to work. 20 years, I said slowly. You're telling me you've been looking for me for 20 years? Yes. Then why now? He hesitated just for a second, but I saw it. Because I finally found you, he said. No, I said, shaking my head. That's not what I meant. I stepped closer. Why today? The question hung between us, heavy, unavoidable. His eyes shifted. Not away, but past me, toward the house, then toward the direction of the cemetery. I didn't know, he said quietly. Know what? That she was gone. Emily. My chest tightened again. If I had known... His voice broke slightly. I would have come sooner. Something in that felt real, too real, and that scared me more than anything, because if he was telling the truth, then everything else might be too. I don't believe you, I said, but my voice wasn't as strong now. I don't expect you to, he replied. A pause, then softer. But I'm not leaving again. The words hit like a warning, or a promise. I wasn't sure which. Behind me, the front door creaked open. My mother stood there, pale, shaking. Lena, she said. I turned. She looked between me and Victor, and for the first time, I saw it clearly. Not fear of him, fear of what happens next. You need to come inside, she said. Her voice was barely holding together. Both of you. I looked at her, then at him, then back at the house I grew up in, the house that suddenly didn't feel like mine anymore. And I realized something. This wasn't over. It hadn't even started yet. Because whatever truth they were about to tell me was going to change everything. The house felt smaller than I remembered, or maybe I just didn't belong in it anymore. The moment I stepped inside, something shifted. Not physically, not visibly, but I could feel it. Every wall, every corner, like they were holding something back. My mother moved straight into the kitchen, not even taking off her coat. Her hands went immediately to the counter, gripping the edge like she needed something solid to hold on to. Victor stayed near the doorway, like he didn't know if he was allowed to come in. Good, he wasn't. I walked past both of them without saying anything and headed upstairs. Lena, my mother called weakly. I didn't stop. I needed space. Or maybe I needed proof. My room was exactly the same. Bed, desk, closet, everything in place. Two in place. Like nothing had ever been wrong here. I dropped the birth certificate onto the desk and stared at it. Victor Hale. The name still didn't feel real, but it didn't feel fake anymore either. That was the problem. I turned away quickly and opened my closet, pulling down the old storage box from the top shelf. Photos. If there was anything real, it would be here. I sat on the floor and opened it. The smell hit first. Old paper, dust, time. I flipped through the albums. Birthdays, Christmas, school photos, Emily everywhere, me beside her, and him, Daniel, smiling, present. Always there. I turned another page. Another, and then I stopped. My hand froze mid-turn. Something was off. I went back a few pages, looked closer, then flipped forward again, faster now, heart starting to beat harder. Every photo, every single one, looked the same. Not the people, not the moments. Him, Daniel. He didn't change. No younger version, no older version, just the same. I grabbed another album, opened it, flipped through, same thing. Always him, always the same age, the same face, the same man. My chest tightened. No, I whispered it to myself, but it didn't help. I stood up quickly and went to my desk, pulling open the drawer. Old documents, school records, medical forms. I scanned them. Name, Daniel Carter. Signature, Daniel Carter. Every time, everywhere. Too consistent, too perfect, like it had all been filled in at once. My hands started shaking again. No. I grabbed my laptop and opened it, typing fast. Old backups, family folders, photos, videos. I clicked through them, my breathing getting louder in the quiet room. Date filters, sorting, scrolling, and then I saw it. A gap. Then nothing in between. No photos, no videos, no files, just empty. Like that year didn't exist. My stomach dropped. That's not possible, I muttered. I searched deeper. Hard drives, cloud backups, anything. Nothing. 2005 was gone. Completely gone. A full year of my life. Missing. I pushed my chair back, standing too fast. The room spun slightly. Lena? My mother's voice came from the doorway. I turned. She looked small. Smaller than I had ever seen her. What happened in 2005? I asked. Her face went pale. That year, I continued, my voice shaking now. Where is it? I don't know what you mean. Don't, I snapped. Don't do that. I stepped closer. There's nothing, I said. No photos, no files, no records. It's like it never happened. She swallowed hard. Lena, what happened in 2005? I repeated. Silence. Behind her, Victor appeared at the edge of the hallway, watching, listening, waiting. I hated that he was part of this. Answer me, I said. Her eyes filled with tears, but she still didn't answer. That was enough. I moved past her, heading toward the attic. Lena, stop! I ignored her. The attic door creaked as I pulled it down. Dust fell lightly from the edges. I climbed up quickly, my heart pounding louder with every step. If it existed, it would be here. It had to be. Old boxes lined the space. Forgotten things. Things no one touched anymore. I started opening them one by one. Clothes, books, random junk. Then, a box tucked into the corner. Different. Sealed tighter than the others. I pulled it toward me and opened it. Inside, more photos. Older, faded. My hands slowed as I picked one up. A man, holding a baby. Me, I stared at it. My breath caught. Because it wasn't Daniel. It wasn't the man I grew up calling Dad. It was someone else. Younger, softer, real. I flipped the photo over. A date, and a name written in pen. Victor. My chest tightened. No! I grabbed another photo. Same man, same eyes. Holding Emily this time. Laughing. Alive. Lena! My mother's voice was closer now. Panicked. I didn't turn. "Why is he in these?" I asked quietly. No answer. I stood up slowly, the photo shaking in my hand. Why is he in our life? Before him? Silence. Heavy. Crushing. I turned. My mother stood at the bottom of the attic stairs, her face completely drained. Victor stood behind her, not moving, not speaking, just watching me, like he already knew what I was about to realize. I held up the photo. "This was real," I said. My voice barely sounded like mine. "This was our life." I looked at her. Tears blurred my vision now. "So tell me," I whispered. "What happened to him?" My mother closed her eyes, and for a second, I thought she was going to tell me everything. But instead, she said the one thing that made everything worse. "It's not safe." The words hung in the air, cold, final. My grip tightened on the photo. "Not safe?" I repeated. "For who?" She didn't answer. Of course she didn't. Because now, I understood something. This wasn't just a lie. It was something bigger, something that erased people, years, lives, and whatever happened in 2005 didn't just change our family, it replaced it. I didn't sleep, not even for a minute. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the photo again, that man, holding me like he belonged there, like he had always been there, and somehow I had never seen him before. Morning came too fast. Gray light pushed through my window, dull and cold. It didn't feel like a new day. It felt like a continuation of something I didn't understand. I was already dressed when I heard movement downstairs. Voices, low, tense. I stepped out of my room and moved quietly toward the stairs. "It's too soon," my mother was saying. "We don't have time," Victor replied. His voice was steady, controlled, but there was something underneath it. Urgency. I stepped into view. "Then stop talking about me like I'm not here." Both of them turned. My mother looked exhausted, like she hadn't slept either. Victor looked ready, like he had been waiting for this. "Good," I said, "because we're done waiting." I walked into the kitchen. No more half-truths. No more "it's not safe." I want everything. My voice didn't shake this time. It scared me a little. "Lena," my mother started. "No," I cut her off. "You don't get to control this anymore." Silence. Then Victor spoke. "There's a way to prove it." I looked at him. "What kind of way?" "A DNA test." The words landed clean, simple, final. My mother shook her head immediately. "No." "Yes," I said at the same time. We both turned to each other. "You don't understand what you're doing," she said. "I understand exactly," I replied. "Either he's lying, or you are." Her face broke slightly at that, but I didn't stop. "I'm done guessing." Victor nodded once. "I've already arranged it," he said. "Private lab. No records tied back to you unless you want them." Of course he had. That should have bothered me, but it didn't. Not anymore. "When?" I asked. "Today." I didn't hesitate. "Good. Lena." My mother reached for me. I stepped back. "If you want me to trust you," I said quietly, "this is where you start." Her hand dropped, slowly, like she already knew she had lost. The lab was smaller than I expected. Clean, quiet, almost too quiet. No waiting room full of people, no noise, just white walls and controlled air. Everything felt clinical, detached, like this wasn't about my life, like it was just data. A technician greeted us, no questions, no small talk. Victor had set everything up. Of course he had. We were taken into a small room, 2 chairs, a table, a sealed kit. "Just a cheek swab," the technician said. "Results can be expedited." "How long?" I asked. 48 hours. 48 hours to find out who I was, or who I wasn't. I sat down. Victor sat across from me, close enough now that I could study him, the lines on his face, the way his hands rested on the table, steady, but not relaxed. He was nervous. Good. He should be. The technician handed me the swab. I stared at it for a second. This tiny thing, this stupid, simple piece of plastic, was about to decide everything. "You don't have to do this," my mother said from behind me. I didn't turn. "Yes," I said. "I do." I swabbed my cheek. Slow, careful, then handed it back. Victor did the same. No hesitation, no doubt. That bothered me more than anything. The samples were sealed, labeled, taken away. And just like that, it was done. There was nothing left to argue about, nothing left to question, only waiting. The drive home felt longer, heavier. No one spoke, not even me. Because for the first time, I didn't have anything to say. I sat in the back seat again, staring out the window as the city blurred past. Everything looked normal. People walking, cars moving, life continuing, like nothing had changed. But everything had. I just didn't know how much yet. 48 hours. That's what I kept telling myself. Just 48 hours. And then I would know. Or at least, I would know enough to break. That night, the house felt even quieter. Too quiet. My mother stayed in her room. The door closed, locked. Victor sat in the living room, but I didn't go near him. I couldn't. Not yet. Instead, I went back to my room, closed the door, and sat on the floor. The photo was still on my desk. I picked it up again, looked at his face. Victor, younger, smiling, holding me like I mattered, like I was his. My chest tightened. "I don't even know you," I whispered. But the worst part was that something in me wanted to. I dropped the photo and leaned back against the bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to think, trying to make sense of something that refused to make sense. And then it hit me. Not a memory. A question. Emily. My eyes snapped open. I sat up. Too fast. The room spun slightly, but I ignored it. If this was true, if any of this was true, then Emily, she knew. Or she didn't. But either way, she was part of this. And suddenly, her death didn't feel as simple as it did yesterday. My heart started pounding again. "No," I whispered, but the thought didn't go away. It got louder, stronger. What if this wasn't just about who my father was? What if it was about why my sister was dead? I stood up slowly. The house was silent. Too silent. Like it was waiting. 48 hours. That's all I had. 48 hours until the truth came back. And for the first time, I wasn't sure I wanted it to. Because whatever that result said, it wasn't just going to change my past. It was going to decide what I did next. And I had a feeling there was no going back from it. The second day felt longer than the first. Time didn't move normally anymore. It stretched, slowed, dragged every second across my nerves like something sharp. 48 hours. It sounded simple. It wasn't. I woke up late, but I knew I hadn't really slept. My body felt heavy, like I had been holding something all night. Maybe I had. The house was quiet again. Too quiet. I stepped into the hallway and noticed my mother's door was still closed. Locked. Victor wasn't in the living room. For a second, I thought, maybe he left. Maybe all of this had just been some kind of nightmare that bled too far into reality. But then I saw his coat. Still there. Folded neatly over the chair. He wasn't gone. None of this was. I walked into the kitchen, poured myself coffee I didn't want, and leaned against the counter. My eyes drifted toward the hallway, toward the attic. I didn't think about it long. I just moved. The attic felt colder this time, like it remembered what I had found. I went straight to the box, opened it again. The photos were still there. Victor, younger, real. I stared at them for a moment, then set them aside. Because this time, I wasn't looking for him. I was looking for her, Emily. If she knew anything, if she suspected anything, she wouldn't have left it obvious. She never did anything obvious. I started going through the rest of the box more carefully, under the photos, between them, along the edges. And then, I found it. An envelope. Thin, worn. Hidden between two stacks like it didn't want to be found. My heart started beating faster. I picked it up slowly. No name on the outside, no date, just sealed. I hesitated, then opened it. Inside, letters. More than one. Folded neatly, carefully, like whoever wrote them knew they mattered. I unfolded the first one. The handwriting was familiar. My chest tightened. My mother's. Victor. I stopped breathing for a second. I don't know if this will ever reach you. My fingers tightened around the paper. They're watching everything. I can't risk calling. I can't risk writing more than this. A cold feeling spread through my chest. They said if I don't cooperate, they'll take the girls. Girls. Plural. My throat went dry. I didn't believe them at first. I thought I could fight it. But I saw what they're capable of. I swallowed hard. They made it clear. If you come back, you won't just disappear, you'll die. The room felt smaller, like the walls were closing in. I'm so sorry. I didn't have a choice. I had to let him take your place. My hand started shaking. Please don't come back. Not for me, not for them. Stay alive. The letter ended there. No signature. It didn't need one. I lowered the paper slowly. My head felt light, like I wasn't fully inside my body anymore. She knew, I whispered. She knew everything. I grabbed the next letter. This one was shorter, more rushed. They're pushing harder now. He's already here. They're changing things, documents, records. My heart pounded. I don't know how far it goes. I don't know who's involved. I just know we're not safe. I flipped to the last page. If anything happens, tell the girls I tried. That was it. No more. No explanation. No names. Just fear. Pure, raw fear. I dropped the letters onto the floor and stepped back. My breathing was uneven now. Too fast. Too shallow. They replaced him, I said out loud. The words felt unreal. They actually replaced him. A sound behind me. I turned. My mother stood at the top of the attic stairs. She looked like she had aged years overnight. Her eyes went straight to the letters on the floor, and then she closed them, like she couldn't bear to see them again. You weren't supposed to find those, she said quietly. I let out a hollow laugh. Yeah, I said. I'm starting to notice a pattern. She didn't respond. Of course she didn't. I picked up the first letter and held it up. You wrote this. It wasn't a question. She nodded, slowly. Yes. The word felt heavier than anything she had said before. They threatened you, I said. Yes. And you believed them. Her jaw tightened. I saw what they could do. I stepped closer. Who are they? Silence. Again. Always silence. Mom, I said, my voice breaking slightly now. Who are they? I don't know, she said. I froze. What? I never saw them clearly. It was always through someone else. Messages. Warnings. That doesn't make sense, I said. You don't just hand your family over to someone you don't even know. I didn't hand you over, she snapped suddenly. The sharpness in her voice caught me off guard. I kept you alive. The words hung between us, heavy, final. And him? I asked. My voice dropped. What about him? Her expression changed. Something darker, something harder. He was supposed to protect you, she said. He? The man you call your father. Daniel. My chest tightened. He wasn't just some random replacement, she continued. He was part of it. Part of what? She shook her head. I don't know the whole thing. I never did. But I knew enough. Enough to lie to us for 20 years? Yes. No hesitation, no apology, just yes. That hurt more than anything. I looked down at the letters again, then back at her. You let him take over our lives. I had to. You erased him, I said. Her eyes filled with tears. I saved you. I stared at her, really stared, trying to find the mother I knew, the one who tucked me in, the one who told me stories, the one who felt safe. She was still there. But now, She looked like someone who had been carrying something too heavy for too long. And Emily? I asked quietly. That was the wrong question. I saw it immediately. Her entire body went still. What about Emily? She asked carefully. My heart started pounding again. She knew, I said. Didn't she? Silence. That was enough. She found out, I continued, before she died. My mother didn't deny it, didn't confirm it, but her face said everything. A cold realization settled into my chest, slow, terrifying. This wasn't just about the past, I whispered. This is happening now. My grip tightened around the letter. Whatever she found, I looked at my mother, is why she's dead. She shook her head immediately. No. Too fast. Too automatic. Don't say that. Then tell me I'm wrong. She didn't, because she couldn't. And that was the moment everything changed. Not the funeral, not the paper, not even Victor. This, the realization that Emily didn't just die. She found something, and whatever it was still out there, waiting. I didn't wait for the DNA results. I couldn't, because now it wasn't just about who my father was. It was about who had been living in my house, and why. That thought didn't let me sit still. By mid-morning, I was already out the door. My mother tried to stop me. "Lena, please," she said, following me into the hallway. "You don't know what you're walking into." I grabbed my keys. "Neither do you," I replied. "That's exactly why you shouldn't—" "I'm done hiding," I cut her off. She flinched. Good. I needed her to feel even a fraction of what I was feeling. "Where are you going?" she asked. I hesitated for a second, then I said it. Someone who actually looks for answers. Detective Aaron Blake didn't look like someone who liked surprises, which made two of us. His office smelled like old paper and coffee that had been sitting too long. Files stacked everywhere. Half-organized chaos. He looked up when I walked in. Recognition flickered. "Lena Carter," he said. "I was at the scene." The scene. That's what they called it. Not an accident, not anymore. "I need help," I said. He leaned back slightly. "With what?" I placed a photo on his desk. Victor, holding me, then another, Daniel, standing beside us years later. His eyes moved between them, slowly. "Those two men," I said, "are supposed to be the same person." A pause. "That's not possible," he said. "Yeah," I replied. "I'm starting to figure that out." He studied me for a moment, then the photos again. Then he reached for his keyboard. "Name?" "Daniel Carter." He typed, waited, his brow furrowed slightly. "That's strange." My chest tightened. "What?" "He exists," Blake said slowly. "But not before 2005. My heart skipped. "What do you mean?" "I mean exactly that," he replied. "No records, no taxes, no employment history, nothing before that year." I felt the floor shift under me. "That's not possible." "That's what I said." He clicked through more files. "Social Security number issued in 2005. Clean history after that. Almost too clean." My throat went dry. "Too clean?" "No flags, no debt, no gaps, no mistakes." He looked at me. "Real people have messes." I swallowed hard. "What about before 2005? He shook his head. "It's like he didn't exist." The words echoed in my head. Didn't exist. Just like the missing year. Just like the photos. Just like... Can someone do that? I asked quietly. Erase themselves? Or create someone new? Blake leaned back, thinking. "Not legally," he said. But what? There are programs," he continued carefully. "Witness protection, identity changes, government-level stuff." My stomach dropped. "You're saying he could be, what, some kind of protected witness?" "I'm saying if someone wanted to build a clean identity from scratch," Blake said, "that's one way it happens." I stared at the desk, at the photos, at the two men who were never supposed to exist at the same time. But that doesn't make sense, I said. Why would someone like that end up in my family? Blake didn't answer right away. Instead, he pulled up another file. Let's try something else, he said. Victor Hale. My breath caught. He typed, waited. Then, something changed. His expression tightened. What? I asked. He exists, Blake said. Relief hit for half a second, then vanished. But what? He's listed as deceased. Everything inside me went still. What? Declared dead, Blake said. 2005. The year hit like a gunshot. No, I whispered. That's not right. He's not dead. He was at the funeral. He's alive. Blake didn't look surprised. That happens, he said. Sometimes people are declared dead, and they're not. Why? His eyes met mine. Because someone wants them gone. The room felt smaller, like the air had been pulled out. So let me get this straight, I said slowly. My real father was declared dead the same year my fake father suddenly appeared. Blake didn't interrupt, didn't soften it. Yeah, he said. That's exactly what it looks like. My hands curled into fists. This wasn't random. This wasn't a mistake. This was planned. Who would do something like that? I asked. Blake leaned forward slightly. Someone with access, he said, to records, to systems, to people who don't ask questions. I thought of the letters. They're watching. I thought of my mother's face. I kept you alive. I thought of Emily. And suddenly, my chest tightened again. What about her? I asked quickly. Blake frowned. Your sister? Yes, her accident. He hesitated. That was enough. What? I pressed. It's still under review, he said. That's not what you were going to say. A pause, then. There were inconsistencies, he admitted. My heart started pounding. What kind of inconsistencies? The angle of impact, he said. The timing. Some things didn't line up cleanly. Cold spread through my chest. Say it. He looked at me. Really looked this time. You want me to be honest? Yes. He held my gaze. It didn't feel like a normal accident. The words hit harder than anything else so far, because now, it wasn't just suspicion. It wasn't just fear. It was real. She was looking into something, I said. Blake raised an eyebrow. What makes you think that? Because I found things, I replied. Letters, old records, stuff that doesn't make sense. He leaned back again, thinking. Then you need to be careful, he said. That word again. Careful, like it would change anything. Why? I asked. Because if someone went through that much effort to erase a man, Blake said quietly, they won't hesitate to do it again. Silence filled the room, heavy, unavoidable. I looked down at the photos one more time. Victor, alive. Daniel, impossible. And Emily, gone. This isn't over, I said. Blake didn't argue, didn't reassure. He just nodded once. No, he said. It's not. And for the first time, I understood something clearly. This wasn't just about my past. It was about something still happening, something still active. And if Emily had died because she got too close, then I was already standing exactly where she had been. I went straight to Emily's apartment. I didn't call, didn't warn anyone. I just drove, because now I knew something I couldn't ignore. She hadn't just died. She had been looking for something, and whatever it was, I needed to find it. The building looked exactly the same, too normal, like nothing inside it had changed. I parked across the street and sat there for a moment staring at her window. Second floor, curtains half closed. I expected to feel something. Grief, anger, anything. But all I felt was focus. Like my brain had decided emotions were a luxury I couldn't afford right now. I got out of the car, walked up, unlocked the door with the spare key she made me years ago. Just in case, she had said. I stepped inside. Silence. Thick. Still, it hit me immediately. Her scent. Faint, but still there, like she had just stepped out and might come back any second. I swallowed hard and closed the door behind me. "Emily?" I said, out of habit. "Nothing. Of course." I moved slowly through the apartment. Everything was clean, organized, too organized. That was the first thing that felt wrong. Emily wasn't messy, but she wasn't this. Perfect. Every surface clear, every object in place, like someone had gone through and cleaned it. Not for comfort, for control. I walked into her bedroom. The bed was made, tight, hospital corners. That wasn't her. I opened the closet, clothes lined up evenly, too evenly. I ran my hand along them, feeling the fabric, looking for anything out of place. Nothing. I turned to the desk. Her laptop was gone. My chest tightened. "Of course it is," I muttered. Phone? Gone. Tablet? Gone. Someone had been here. After. Cleaning, removing. I stepped back slowly, trying to think. Emily wasn't careless. If she was investigating something, she wouldn't leave everything in one place. She would hide it. Somewhere safe, somewhere not obvious. I closed my eyes for a second. Think like her. Think. Where would you hide something you don't want anyone to find? Not obvious, not digital, not easy. My eyes opened. The bathroom. I moved quickly. Opened cabinets, drawers, nothing. Too clean, too empty. I stared at the mirror, at my own reflection. Tired, wired, different. Then I noticed it. The edge. The mirror wasn't flush against the wall. There was a slight gap, barely noticeable. I stepped closer, ran my fingers along the side and pushed. It shifted, just slightly. My heart started pounding. I pulled it open. Behind it, a narrow space. And inside, a small black drive. USB. My breath caught. "She hid it," I whispered. I reached in and grabbed it. Cold, solid, real. This was it. Whatever she found, it was here. I didn't go home. Not yet. Instead, I sat in my car, laptop open, the drive in my hand. For a second, I hesitated. Because once I plugged it in, there was no going back. Emily died because of this. That thought didn't leave. It sat there, heavy. But I still plugged it in. The screen lit up, files, folders, encrypted, of course. "Emily," I exhaled. I clicked through. Most of it was locked, password protected, but one folder wasn't. It was labeled, "If something happens." My chest tightened instantly. I opened it. Inside, a video file. One. Only one. I clicked it. The screen flickered. Then, Emily. Alive. Sitting exactly where I was sitting now. In her apartment, looking straight into the camera. Her eyes were tired, but sharp, focused, like she knew exactly what she was doing. "If you're watching this," she said, "then something went wrong." My hands tightened on the steering wheel. "I didn't want to drag you into this," she continued, "but I don't think I have a choice anymore." Her voice was steady, too steady. "I started looking into Dad a few months ago," she said. The word hit differently now. Dad. "I noticed things didn't add up," she continued. "Records missing, dates that didn't match, people who couldn't remember him before a certain point." My heart pounded louder. "I thought it was just a mistake at first," she said, "but then I found something I wasn't supposed to." She paused, just for a second, like she was deciding how much to say. "There are files," she said finally. "Not public, not accessible unless you know where to look." Her eyes shifted slightly, like she was remembering. "His identity isn't just fake," she said. "It was created." The words hit like a punch. "And not by one person," she added, "by a system." My breath caught. "They replaced him," she said quietly. "Not just in our lives, in everything." I felt cold, completely cold. "And whoever did it," she continued, "they're still active." A beat. Then, "They're still watching." My grip tightened. I glanced around instinctively. Empty street. Still. but it didn't feel empty anymore. "If I disappear," Emily said, "or if something happens to me," her voice softened, just slightly, "don't trust anyone." My chest tightened painfully. "Not even Mom," she added. That hurt, more than anything else so far. "Especially not him," she said. I didn't need her to say the name. I already knew, Daniel. "He's not who you think he is," she said. "He was placed there." A pause. Then, "And I think—" her voice dropped. "I think he knows I found out." Silence filled the car, heavy, suffocating. Emily looked straight into the camera, and for the first time, she looked scared, not confused, not uncertain. Afraid. "If you're seeing this," she said quietly, "then I was right." The screen flickered, then went black. I sat there, not moving, not breathing properly, the drive still connected, the screen still glowing. "She knew," I whispered. "She knew everything. And now, so did I." But the worst part wasn't what she said. It was what she didn't say. Because if she was right, if they were watching, then they already knew. I had found it. I didn't go home right away. I drove. No destination, no plan, just movement. Because sitting still felt dangerous now, too exposed. Emily's voice kept replaying in my head. "They're still watching." I checked the rearview mirror again, then again. Every car felt like it was following me. Every stoplight felt too long. Every shadow. Wrong. I forced myself to breathe, slow, controlled. Think. Don't panic. Panicking is how you make mistakes. And right now, mistakes could get me killed. I pulled into a gas station and parked in the far corner. Lights overhead, open space, no blind spots, safer. At least it felt that way. I shut off the engine and sat there, gripping the wheel. The USB drive was still plugged into my laptop beside me. Heavy, like it carried more than data, like it carried consequences. Emily found something big enough to get her killed. And now, I had it, which meant I was next. The thought landed hard, clear, unavoidable. "No," I whispered, "I'm not doing this alone." There was only one person who might understand how deep this went. Victor. He picked up on the second ring. "Lena?" His voice was sharp, alert, like he'd been waiting. "I need you to tell me everything," I said. No greeting, no hesitation. A pause, then, "Where are you?" "Not home." "Good," he said immediately. That confirmed it. "You knew," I said. "Knew what?" "That this wasn't over." Silence. Then, "Yes." The honesty hit harder than I expected. "Why didn't you say anything?" I asked. "Because you wouldn't have believed me." He wasn't wrong. "Emily knew," I said. His breath caught slightly. "I saw a video. She found something. She knew about Daniel. About the identity." Another pause, longer this time, then, "I was afraid of that." Fear, real fear, from him. "What is this?" I demanded. "What were you involved in?" "It wasn't supposed to touch you," he said. "That's not an answer." "I know." "Then give me one." Silence stretched between us. Then, "I testified," he said. The words were quiet, but they changed everything. "Against who?" "A network," he replied. "Financial, criminal, deep." My grip tightened on the phone. "How deep?" "Deep enough to rewrite identities," he said. "Deep enough to make people disappear." My stomach dropped. "And you thought just walking back into my life was safe?" I asked. "I didn't walk back," he said. "I've been trying to find you for years." "Then why now?" "Because something changed." That word again. Changed. "What?" Another pause. Then, they resurfaced. Cold spread through my chest. "Who?" "The people I testified against," he said. "They were supposed to be gone, locked away. But something happened." My heart started pounding. "What does that have to do with Emily?" "Everything. I already knew." "I think she found a piece of it," he said. "There are files," I replied. Encrypted. She hid them. Don't open anything else, he said immediately. Too fast, too urgent. Why? Because if they're tracking access, ma'am, I already opened it, I cut in. Silence. Then, Lena. The way he said my name, it wasn't calm anymore. It wasn't controlled. It was fear. Real, raw fear. You need to leave, he said. Right now. I already did. No, I mean, leave everything, he said. The car, the phone, everything. That's not happening. Listen to me. No, I snapped. I've been listening my whole life. Look where that got me. A pause, then softer. I'm not running. You don't understand what you're dealing with. Then explain it, I said, because right now all I see is a system that erased you, replaced you, and killed my sister. Silence. Heavy. Then, it wasn't just about me, he said. What do you mean? They needed access, he continued. Proximity. Control. To what? To you. The words didn't make sense. What? You and Emily, he said. You were leverage. For what? I don't know everything, he admitted. But I know enough to say this. He paused, and when he spoke again, his voice was lower, darker. You weren't just collateral. My breath caught. Then what was I? Another pause, longer, careful. Something they needed close. The car suddenly felt too small, too tight. What does that even mean? I don't know yet, he said, but Emily was getting close. And that's why she died. Neither of us said it. We didn't need to. A car pulled into the station nearby. I flinched slightly, watching, tracking. Everything felt wrong now. Every movement, every sound. They're watching, I said quietly. Yes. No hesitation. That made it worse. Then what do I do? I asked. For the first time, I sounded unsure. A long pause. Then, you trust no one, he said. Emily's voice echoed in my head. Not even Mom. My grip tightened. And you? I asked. Another pause. Longer this time. You decide that, he said. That answer was the most honest thing he'd said so far. I looked down at the laptop, at the drive, at the thing that had already changed everything, and I realized something. There was no safe version of this anymore. No clean path, no right choice. Only risk. I'm not stopping, I said finally. I know, he replied. A beat. Then, just don't be where they expect you to be. The line went quiet, but not dead, like neither of us wanted to hang up first, because once we did, we were on our own. I'll call you, he said. Then click. I sat there for a long time, the engine still off, the lights still buzzing overhead, people moving in the distance. Normal. Everything looked normal, but nothing was, because now I knew. This wasn't just about the past, it was active, alive, moving. And whatever Emily found was still out there, still unfinished. And now, so was I. I didn't go back to the house, not after what Victor said, not after what Emily left behind. Instead, I drove to the one place I knew no one would expect, the cemetery. It was quieter at night. No voices, no movement, just wind moving through trees and the distant hum of the city that didn't care what had happened here. I parked near the entrance and walked the rest of the way. Gravel crunched under my shoes. Every step sounded louder than it should, like the ground itself was listening. Emily's grave wasn't hard to find. Fresh soil, dark, unsettled. I stopped a few feet away, didn't move closer right away. I didn't know why. Maybe because once I stood there, this would all feel real in a way I couldn't undo. You always said you hated this kind of ending, I said quietly. My voice sounded strange, like it didn't belong in the air. I guess you didn't get a say. The wind picked up slightly, cold. I stepped closer, looked down. "This wasn't an accident," I said. Not a question, not anymore. "I know that now." Silence answered, but it didn't feel empty. It felt full, like something was still here. "I found what you left," I continued. My chest tightened. "You knew about him, about everything. And you were right." I swallowed hard. "They're still out there." A branch snapped somewhere behind me. I turned instantly. Nothing, just shadows, trees, stillness, but my body didn't relax, not anymore. I had learned something important. Silence didn't mean safe. Headlights cut across the edge of the cemetery. A car. My pulse spiked. Too fast, too sudden. I stepped back slightly, instinctively moving toward the darker side of the trees. The car slowed, stopped. Engine still running. I held my breath. Watched. The door opened. A figure stepped out. Tall. Familiar. Lena. Victor. Relief hit. Then faded just as quickly. "You shouldn't be here," I said. "Neither should you," he replied. "Fair." He walked closer, his eyes scanning the area before settling on me. "You came alone?" "Yes." He nodded once. "Good." That word again. Good. Nothing about this felt good. "You followed me?" I asked. "I tracked your car," he said. "Of course he did." "Of course you did," I muttered. "I needed to make sure you were safe." "I'm not," I said. The honesty hung between us. Neither of us argued it. A moment passed, then, "We don't have much time," he said. My chest tightened. "Why?" "Because if they're monitoring anything tied to you," he said, "they already know something changed." "They already know," I replied. He didn't ask how. He just nodded. "You opened it," he said. "Yes." His jaw tightened slightly. "What did you see?" "Enough." I stepped closer. "She knew everything." "Yes." "She said he was placed there." Victor's eyes darkened. "He was." "And you let it happen?" I snapped. "I didn't have a choice." "That's what she said too," I shot back. Funny how everyone didn't have a choice except me. A beat. Then, "You still have one," he said. "Do I?" "Yes." I laughed quietly. Between what? Running or getting killed? Between staying in the lie or facing the truth? The words hit harder than I expected, because that's what this was, a choice. Even if both sides were wrong, then give me the truth, I said, all of it. He hesitated. For the first time, he looked unsure, and that scared me more than anything else, because if he didn't know, then who did? "It started with the case," he said slowly. "I testified against people who weren't supposed to be exposed." "You said that already." "I didn't tell you what they were doing." I waited. "They weren't just moving money," he continued. "They were building identities, creating them, replacing real ones." My stomach turned. "Why?" "Access," he said. "Control. If you can become someone, you can get into places you shouldn't be." I thought of Daniel, of the house, of my life. "And us?" I asked. "Why us?" He looked at me. Really looked. "Because you were connected to me. That's it? No?" The word came too quickly, too sharp. "What aren't you telling me?" I asked. A long pause. Then, "They needed proximity to something they couldn't reach directly." My chest tightened. "What?" Another pause. Longer this time. Careful. "You." The word barely made sense. "What does that mean?" "I don't know everything," he said, "but I know this. Your identity was never random." Cold spread through me. "You're saying I was part of this?" "I'm saying you might be the reason it happened." The ground felt unsteady beneath me. "That doesn't make sense." "I know. Then explain it." "I can't," he said. "Not yet." Frustration surged through me. "Then what am I supposed to do with that?" "Stay alive," he said. The simplicity of it almost made me laugh. Almost. And him? I asked quietly. Daniel. Victor's expression changed. Subtle, but real. He was assigned to your family, he said. To protect you? Yes. The word hit strangely. Protect. That's not what it looks like, I said. I know. Then what changed? Victor didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice was lower. He stayed. The words settled slowly. He wasn't supposed to, Victor continued. He was supposed to be temporary, a cover, nothing more. But he didn't leave. No. Why? Victor looked at me, and for the first time, there was something like conflict in his eyes, because he chose not to. A long silence followed. The wind moved through the trees again, soft, uneasy. So what is he? I asked. An imposter? I shook my head. A protector? A liar? Victor didn't answer, because maybe he didn't know either. And that's when it hit me. Not all at once, but enough. Slow, heavy, breaking. He raised me, I said quietly. Victor didn't interrupt. He lied, I continued, but he stayed. My throat tightened. He was there. A pause. Then, and you weren't. The words hung between us, sharp, unavoidable. Victor looked away, just for a second, but it was enough. I didn't have a choice, he said. There it was again, that sentence, the one that explained everything and nothing. I took a step back, looked between him and the grave behind me, between truth and memory, between blood and everything else. I don't know who my father is, I said. My voice was steady now, too steady. Victor didn't respond because there was nothing he could say. I don't know what's real, I continued. Not my past, not my family, not even myself. The wind picked up again, colder this time. I just know one thing. I looked at him, direct, clear. I'm not done. Something shifted in his expression. Not relief, not fear, something else. Understanding. Good, he said quietly, because this wasn't over. Not even close. And whatever they built, whatever they replaced, whatever they tried to control, they didn't finish it. Not yet. And now, neither would I. Because if my entire life was a lie, then I was going to be the one who decided what the truth looked like next. So tell me, if the man who loved you wasn't real, and the man who's real never got the chance to love you, who would you call your father? Blood or the man who raised you? And if a lie protected you your whole life, was it still wrong? I'm reading every answer.